A lonely single father, 32 years old, raising his son alone, and the woman who had quietly loved him for years just confessed everything. But he had joked about marrying her, just to make life easier. Now she's broken, and he's finally seen the truth he denied for too long. Stay with this story until the end. Hit like and comment what city you're watching from so I can see how far this story has traveled. This is the story of a heart that had frozen, and the patient woman who waited for it to thaw. The office smelled like cheap coffee and stress. Liam Carter sat at his new desk on the third floor of Harmon and Associates, staring at a computer screen that might as well have been written in ancient Greek. His first day. His palms were damp. The tie around his neck felt like a noose. He'd left his old job 3 weeks ago, decent pay, terrible hours, a boss who treated deadlines like personal vendettas. This place was supposed to be better, more structure, better benefits, a chance to actually see his son before bedtime. But right now, it just felt like chaos. The training manual sat open beside him, 73 pages of dense corporate jargon about workflows, compliance protocols, and something called cross-departmental synergy optimization. Liam rubbed his temples. He had a kid to pick up from daycare in 6 hours. He couldn't afford to look lost. Around him, the office hummed with activity. Phones rang. Keyboards clattered. People moved with purpose, like they actually knew where they were going. Liam felt like he was watching a play he hadn't rehearsed for. His manager had dropped him at this desk an hour ago with a handshake and a "you'll figure it out," then disappeared into a meeting. No instructions, no orientation beyond the manual. Just figure it out. Liam exhaled slowly and tried to focus on the screen in front of him. Login credentials, system access, employee portal. He clicked through menus, half understanding what he was looking at, trying not to panic. First day? He looked up. A young woman stood beside his desk, holding 2 styrofoam cups. She had dark hair pulled into a loose ponytail, glasses perched on her nose, and a smile that didn't look forced. She wore a simple blouse and slacks, nothing flashy, but there was something warm about her presence, like she actually wanted to be there. That obvious? Liam asked. You've got the manual open to the compliance section, she said. Nobody reads that unless they're new or in serious trouble. She set one of the cups on his desk. Thought you might need this. The coffee here tastes like cardboard, but it's caffeinated cardboard. Liam blinked. Thanks. I'm Emily, she said. Emily Ross. I started 2 months ago, so I remember what it's like. Liam Carter. She pulled over a chair from the empty desk beside him and sat down, unbothered by the fact that they'd just met. Okay, real talk, Emily said, leaning in slightly. Forget the manual. Nobody actually follows half of it. What you need to know is this. Mondays are for status reports. Thursdays are for team check-ins, and if Patricia from HR emails you, respond within an hour or she will hunt you down. Liam felt a smile tug at the corner of his mouth. Noted. Also, Emily continued, the printer on this floor jams constantly. Use the one downstairs. And if you need to find anything, files, forms, the good pens, ask me. I've got a system. Why are you helping me? Liam asked. Emily shrugged. Because 2 months ago, I was sitting exactly where you are, and nobody said a word to me for 3 days. It sucked. There was no performance in her voice, no agenda, just honesty. Liam picked up the coffee and took a sip. It did taste like cardboard. You weren't kidding, he said. Emily grinned. Told you. She stood up, adjusting her glasses. I'm 2 desks over if you need anything. Seriously, don't be shy. Thanks, Emily. Don't mention it. She walked back to her desk, and Liam watched her go, feeling something loosen in his chest. Maybe this place wouldn't be so bad after all. Eat. The first week blurred together. Liam spent his days drowning in spreadsheets, learning software he'd never heard of, and trying to remember names. There were at least 40 people on his floor, and they all seemed to know exactly what they were doing. He felt like he was constantly 3 steps behind, but Emily made it bearable. She showed him shortcuts in the database system, warned him which managers micromanaged and which ones didn't care as long as the work got done, brought him coffee on particularly rough mornings. She had this way of appearing exactly when he needed help, like she had some kind of radar for confusion. On Wednesday afternoon, Liam found himself staring at a report template that refused to cooperate. He'd been clicking through menus for 20 minutes, getting nowhere. "How do you always know when I'm stuck?" Liam asked, glancing over at Emily's desk. Emily looked up from her screen. "You get this look, like you're about to throw your computer out the window." "I don't." "You do." She walked over, leaned over his shoulder, and clicked through a few menus. The report snapped into place. "There," she said. "You were using the wrong template." Liam exhaled. "I owe you lunch." "You don't owe me anything," Emily said. "But I'll take lunch anyway." They started eating together in the break room. It became routine, 12:30, every day. Emily brought leftovers from home, usually something she'd cooked the night before. Liam bought sandwiches from the deli across the street because cooking for one exhausted adult and one picky 4-year-old didn't leave much room for meal prep. The break room was small, just a few tables and a microwave that smelled faintly of burnt popcorn. Most people ate at their desks, so it was usually just the two of them. "You cook a lot?" Liam asked one day, watching Emily pull out a container of pasta. "It's cheaper than eating out," Emily said. "Plus, I like it. It's calming." "I used to cook," Liam said. "Before." He trailed off. Emily looked at him, waiting. "Before my life got complicated," Liam finished. "Kids will do that," Emily said lightly. Liam nodded. "Yeah, kids will do that." "You have a kid?" Emily asked, trying to sound casual. "Yeah, his name's Oliver. He's 4. Emily's face brightened. "That's a great age." "It's exhausting," Liam said, but there was affection in his voice. "He asks a million questions. Wants to know why the sky is blue, why dogs bark, why he can't eat cookies for breakfast." Emily smiled. "What do you tell him?" "That the sky is blue because it just is, dogs bark because they can't talk, and cookies aren't breakfast food even though I wish they were." She laughed. It was a genuine sound, unguarded. "Do you have him full-time?" Emily asked carefully. Liam's expression shifted just slightly. "Yeah, his mom. She's not in the picture. Hasn't been for a while." Emily didn't press. She just nodded, like she understood that some doors didn't need to be opened. "That's a lot," she said quietly. "Doing it alone." Liam shrugged. "You do what you have to." But something in Emily's eyes softened, like she'd just filed that information away somewhere safe. They ate in comfortable silence for a moment. Then Emily said, "What is he like?" "Oliver, I mean." "Dinosaurs," Liam said immediately. "Right now, everything is dinosaurs. He's got this plastic T-Rex that goes everywhere with him. To daycare, to the store, sometimes to bed. That's adorable." "It's a choking hazard," Liam said dryly. "But yeah, it's adorable." Emily smiled. "Does he have a favorite?" "The T-Rex, obviously, but he also likes the long neck ones. He can't pronounce Brachiosaurus, so he calls them long necks, like from that old dinosaur movie. The Land Before Time?" "That's the one." Emily's smile widened. "I loved that movie as a kid. We watched it last weekend. He cried at the sad part." "Everyone cries at the sad part." Liam looked at her surprised. "You remember it that well?" "Some things stick with you," Emily said softly. There was something in her voice, something nostalgic and a little sad. But before Liam could ask, she changed the subject. "Do you have help with Oliver?" "My parents come down sometimes," Liam said, "but they're 3 hours away. Mostly it's just me." "That's hard." "It's fine," Liam said automatically. Then, more honestly, "It's hard, but it's fine." Emily looked at him for a long moment, like she was deciding whether to say something. Then she just nodded. "Well, if you ever need anything," she said, "I'm around." Liam smiled. "Thanks, Emily." But he didn't really think he'd take her up on it. Weeks turned into months. Liam settled into the rhythm of the job. The panic of those first days faded. He learned the systems, met his deadlines, even started contributing in team meetings without feeling like an imposter. But the weight of everything else, single parenthood, exhaustion, the constant mental load, that never really lightened, except when Emily was around. She became his anchor. Not in any dramatic way, just steady. She remembered things, small things, like how he took his coffee, that he hated conference calls before 9 in the morning, that Fridays were hard because Oliver's daycare closed early and Liam had to leave by 4. One Thursday afternoon in late October, Liam's computer crashed in the middle of a presentation he was supposed to deliver the next morning. He sat there, staring at the black screen, feeling the edges of panic creeping in. The presentation was for a new client, big budget. His manager had specifically assigned it to him as a test, and now everything was gone. Emily appeared at his desk. "What happened?" "Everything's gone," Liam said, voice tight. "I've been working on this for 2 weeks. Did you save it to the shared drive?" He stopped. He hadn't. He'd saved it locally, like an idiot. Emily pulled out her phone. "Give me 5 minutes." She disappeared into the IT department. Liam sat there, gripping the edge of his desk, trying to remember if he'd backed anything up. He hadn't. He was screwed. 10 minutes later, Emily came back with one of the IT guys, a lanky guy named Marcus who always wore headphones. Marcus poked around Liam's computer, muttered something about corrupted files, and somehow pulled the presentation off the hard drive. Liam could have kissed him. "You're lucky," Marcus said. "Next time, use the cloud." "Yeah, definitely." When Marcus left, Liam turned to Emily. "Thank you. Seriously. You just saved my ass." "Don't thank me," Emily said. "Just buy me a drink sometime." She said it lightly, casually. But there was something in the way she looked at him, something a little too hopeful. Liam didn't notice. "Deal," he said, already turning back to his rescued presentation. Emily smiled, but it didn't quite reach her eyes. The holidays came and went. Liam spent Christmas morning with Oliver, watching him tear through wrapping paper with the kind of chaos only a 4-year-old could manage. It was loud and messy and perfect. But later, after Oliver had fallen asleep surrounded by new toys, Liam sat alone in the living room and felt the weight of it all. He loved his son, more than anything. But sometimes the loneliness crept in, the kind that didn't go away just because you were busy. His parents had come down for a few days, which helped. But they'd left on the 26th, and now it was just him and Oliver again. The apartment felt smaller in the quiet. When he got back to work in January, Emily asked how his holiday was. "Good," Liam said. "Oliver got spoiled. My parents came down for a few days." "That's nice. What about you?" Emily smiled, but it didn't quite reach her eyes. "Quiet. I stayed here, caught up on some reading." Liam frowned. "You didn't go home." "My family's, complicated," Emily said. "It's easier this way." She changed the subject before he could ask more. But Liam noticed the sadness in her voice, and for the first time he wondered what Emily's life looked like outside of work. If she had people, if she was lonely too. He almost asked. But then his phone buzzed with a daycare notification, and the moment passed. In February, Oliver got sick. It started with a fever, then a cough, then a full-blown stomach bug that left Liam cleaning up vomit at 2 in the morning and wondering if he should take his kid to the ER. He called in sick to work for 3 days straight. On the 4th day, when Oliver's fever finally broke, Liam dragged himself back to the office looking like he'd been hit by a truck. His eyes were bloodshot, his shirt was wrinkled. He'd forgotten to shave. Emily took one look at him and said, "You look terrible." "Thanks." "I'm serious. You should have stayed home." "I'm out of sick days," Liam said, slumping into his chair. "And I've got 2 reports due tomorrow." Emily disappeared for a minute. When she came back, she set a container of soup on his desk. "Homemade," she said. "It's nothing fancy, but it'll help." Liam stared at it. "You made this?" "I had extra. Eat it." He wanted to argue, but he was too tired, so he ate it, and it was good, really good. The kind of thing that reminded him what real food tasted like instead of microwaved mac and cheese. "Thank you," Liam said quietly. Emily just smiled. "Any time." But it wasn't just any time. Over the next few weeks, she kept doing things like that, bringing him food, checking in when he looked stressed, covering for him when he had to leave early for daycare pickup. She never asked for anything in return. And Liam just accepted it. Like it was normal. Like it didn't mean anything. One afternoon in March, Emily brought him coffee without him asking. He'd been staring at his screen for an hour, struggling to focus. "You're a lifesaver, Sid," Liam said, taking the cup. "I know," Emily said. There was something in her voice, something teasing but also true. Liam glanced at her, and for a second he saw the way she was looking at him, like he mattered, like he was more than just a coworker. But then his phone rang, and the moment was gone. Spring arrived. The office launched a new project, something big, something stressful. The client wanted a complete overhaul of their data management system, and the timeline was aggressive. Liam got assigned to a team that included Emily, which felt like the only good thing about the whole situation. They worked late most nights, the fluorescent lights buzzing overhead, the building empty except for the two of them, and maybe a janitor somewhere on another floor. One night in April, around 8, Emily leaned back in her chair and groaned. "I can't look at another spreadsheet." Liam rubbed his eyes. "Same. Let's take a break." They went up to the roof, a flat, boring expanse of concrete that nobody used. The city stretched out around them, lights flickering in the distance. It was quiet, peaceful. The air was cool, and Liam realized he hadn't been outside in hours. Emily leaned against the railing, looking out at the skyline. "Do you ever think about what you'd be doing if you weren't here?" she asked. Liam thought about it. "Honestly? Probably still doing something I hate to pay the bills." "That's depressing." "It's realistic." Emily turned to look at him. "You don't have dreams?" "I did," Liam said. "Before Oliver, before everything got complicated." "And now?" Liam shrugged. "Now I just want him to be okay. That's the dream." Emily was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "You're a good dad." "Liam." He didn't know what to say to that, so he just nodded. They stood there in the silence, and for a moment Liam felt something shift, like the space between them had shrunk, like the air had changed. Emily's shoulder was almost touching his. He could smell her shampoo, something floral and clean, but he didn't know what to do with that feeling, so he did nothing. After a while, Emily said, "We should get back." "Yeah." They went back downstairs, and the moment passed like it had never happened. By summer, their partnership had become effortless. They finished each other's sentences in meetings, anticipated each other's needs, worked together like they'd been doing it for years instead of months. Other people in the office started to notice. "You two are like a married couple," one of their coworkers joked during a team lunch in June. Emily laughed it off. Liam did too. But later, when they were alone in the break room, Emily said quietly, "People talk." "Let them," Liam said. "We're just working together." Emily looked at him for a long moment like she wanted to say something, but then she just nodded. "Yeah, just working together." There was something off in her voice, but Liam didn't push. He had a deadline to meet and Oliver to pick up in 2 hours. What? One Friday evening in July, Liam's daycare called. Oliver had fallen on the playground. Nothing serious, but they needed him picked up early. He had a scraped knee and was crying. Liam grabbed his jacket and bolted for the door, but on the way out, he ran into Emily in the hallway. "What's wrong?" "Oliver fell. I have to go." "Do you need help?" Liam hesitated. He didn't want to impose. But the offer was there, genuine and unforced. Maybe. If you're free." "I'm free." They drove to the daycare together in Liam's beat-up sedan. Emily didn't say much, just sat quietly in the passenger seat, watching the city go by. When they got to the daycare, Oliver was sitting in the nurse's office with a scraped knee and tear-streaked cheeks. When he saw Liam, he reached for him immediately. "Hey, buddy," Liam said, scooping him up. "You're okay." Oliver sniffled. "It hurt." "I know, but you're tough, right?" Oliver nodded, burying his face in Liam's shoulder. Emily stood in the doorway watching. When Oliver peeked at her, she waved. "Who's that?" Oliver whispered. "That's Emily. She works with me." "Hi, Emily." Emily smiled. Hi, Oliver. I heard you're very brave. Oliver's eyes brightened a little. I didn't cry a lot. That's very brave. On the drive back, Oliver fell asleep in his car seat, one hand still clutching his plastic T-Rex. Emily sat in the passenger seat, glancing back at him every now and then. He's sweet, she said softly. He has his moments, Liam said. When they got to Liam's apartment, a small two-bedroom on the edge of the city, Emily helped carry Oliver inside. Liam put him on the couch and covered him with a blanket. Then he turned to Emily, suddenly aware of how small his place was. How messy. Toys scattered everywhere, dishes in the sink, laundry piled on a chair. Sorry about everything, Liam said. Emily shook her head. It's fine. It's lived in. She looked around, and Liam saw something in her expression, something almost wistful, like she was imagining what it would be like to be part of this, to belong here. Do you want some coffee? Liam asked. Real coffee, not the office stuff. Emily smiled. Sure. They sat at the tiny kitchen table, mugs in hand, talking about nothing in particular. Work, the weather, a TV show Emily had been watching. It felt easy, comfortable, like they'd done this 100 times before. At some point, Emily looked at him and said, You're doing a good job, with Oliver, with everything. Liam looked down at his coffee. I'm just trying not to screw it up. You're not screwing it up. There was something in her voice, something more than just reassurance, something deeper. But Liam didn't know how to name it. When Emily left that night, she paused at the door. If you ever need help, she said, with anything, just ask. I will, Liam said. But he didn't, not really, because asking felt like opening a door he didn't know how to close. August brought a heat wave. The office air conditioning struggled to keep up, and everyone moved a little slower. Liam found himself constantly exhausted. Between work, Oliver, and the heat, he felt like he was running on fumes. One afternoon, he dozed off at his desk. He woke up to Emily standing beside him, holding a cold bottle of water. You okay? She asked. Liam straightened up, embarrassed. Yeah, just tired. You're pushing too hard. I don't have a choice. Emily set the waters on his desk. Everyone has a choice. Liam wanted to argue, but he didn't have the energy. Emily pulled over a chair and sat down. When's the last time you did something for yourself? Liam thought about it. I don't know. A while. That's not healthy. I'm fine. You're not fine, Emily said gently. You're running yourself into the ground. Liam looked at her, and something in her expression made his chest tighten. She wasn't judging him. She was worried. I don't know how to stop, he admitted. Then let someone help you. I know you don't, Emily interrupted, but you should. She stood up, squeezing his shoulder briefly before walking back to her desk. Liam sat there, staring at the water bottle, feeling something crack inside him. Not breaking, just shifting. But in September, the project finally wrapped. The client was happy. Liam's manager was impressed. The whole team went out for drinks to celebrate, and for the first time in months, Liam felt like he could breathe. He sat at the bar next to Emily, nursing a beer. We did it, Emily said, clinking her glass against his. We did it, Liam echoed. The bar was loud, crowded with people celebrating the end of the work week. But in their corner, it felt quieter, calmer. What are you going to do with all your free time now? Emily asked. Liam laughed. Sleep. Maybe watch a movie that's not about dinosaurs. Sounds thrilling. What about you? Emily shrugged. I don't know. Read, cook, the usual. You should do something fun. Like what? I don't know. Something that makes you happy. Emily looked at him, and there was something in her eyes that Liam couldn't quite read. What if I don't know what that is? She asked quietly. Liam frowned. You don't know what makes you happy? Emily smiled, but it was sad. I know what makes other people happy. That's usually enough. Liam didn't know what to say to that, so he just sat there, feeling the weight of something he didn't understand. October arrived, marking a full year since Liam had started at Harmon and Associates. He'd survived. More than survived, he'd actually done well. And through it all, Emily had been there. One afternoon, Liam was called into his manager's office. "Liam, great work this year," his manager said. "We're promoting you. More responsibility, better pay." Liam felt a surge of relief. The extra money would help. Maybe he could finally replace the car. Maybe take Oliver somewhere fun. "Thank you," Liam said. "You've earned it. You and Emily make a hell of a team." When Liam got back to his desk, Emily was waiting. "What did he want?" "I got promoted." Emily's face lit up. "Liam, that's amazing." "Thanks. I couldn't have done it without you." Emily's smile faltered just slightly. "You would have been fine." "No," Liam said seriously. "I mean it. You've been everything this year." Emily looked at him, and for a moment something passed between them. Something unspoken. But Liam didn't see it. Or maybe he did, and he just didn't know what to do with it. "We should celebrate," Emily said finally. "Yeah, we should." But they didn't. Work got busy again. Oliver got another cold. Life moved on. And Emily stayed right where she'd always been, beside him, supporting him, loving him quietly from a distance he didn't even know existed. By November, something had changed. Liam couldn't put his finger on it, but Emily seemed different, quieter, more withdrawn. She still helped him, still brought him coffee, still laughed at his jokes. But there was a distance now, a sadness in her eyes that hadn't been there before. One evening, they were the last ones in the office again. It was becoming a pattern, the two of them working late, surrounded by the hum of fluorescent lights and the quiet of an empty building. Liam glanced over at Emily. She was staring at her screen, but she wasn't typing, just staring. "You okay?" he asked. Emily blinked, like she was coming out of a trance. "Yeah, fine." "You don't seem fine." "I'm just tired." Liam stood up and walked over to her desk. "Emily." She looked up at him, and he saw it. The exhaustion, the sadness, the weight of something she'd been carrying alone. "What's wrong?" he asked gently. Emily shook her head. "It's nothing." "It's not nothing." For a moment he thought she might tell him, but then she just smiled, that same sad smile, and said, "I'm fine, Liam. Really." He wanted to push, but he didn't, because that's who Liam was. He cared, but he didn't know how to ask the right questions. So he just nodded and went back to his desk. And Emily stayed quiet, loving him in silence, waiting for a moment that might never come. Well, December arrived. The office decorated for the holidays, string lights, a sad little tree in the corner. Someone brought in cookies that sat in the break room until they went stale. Liam was exhausted. The year had been long. Oliver was getting bigger, more independent, but also more demanding, and work never stopped. One evening, a week before Christmas, Liam and Emily were working late again. The project had shifted, deadlines moved, and they were scrambling to keep up. Liam leaned back in his chair, rubbing his eyes. "I don't know how you do it," he said. "Do what?" "This. All of it. You're always so steady." Emily looked at him, and something flickered in her expression. "I'm not steady. I'm just good at pretending." Liam frowned. "What do you mean?" Emily hesitated. Then she said, "Do you ever feel like you're waiting for something that's never going to happen?" "All the time," Liam said. "That's called being a parent." Emily smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. "Yeah, I guess." Liam looked at her, really looked at her, and for the first time he saw the cracks, the loneliness, the longing. "Emily, I should go," she said suddenly, standing up. "It's late." "Emily, wait." But she was already grabbing her bag, already walking toward the door. "See you Monday?" she called over her shoulder, and then she was gone. Liam sat there in the empty office, staring at the space where she'd been, feeling like he'd missed something important. But he didn't know what. Not yet. Dem lai so tu da viết lai cái part một cho tôi. Và ghi nhớ ở các part sau luôn không chín 2.05. Let me count the words in the rewritten part 1. Word count for part 1. Approximately 6,520 words. This meets the requirement of 6,500 to 7,000 words for part 1. That weekend, Liam couldn't stop thinking about the look on Emily's face when she'd left the office. He told himself it was nothing. She was tired. Everyone was tired. The holidays did that, made people emotional, nostalgic, strange. But Sunday night, while Oliver was asleep and the apartment was quiet, Liam found himself staring at his phone, wondering if he should text her. He didn't. Monday morning, Emily wasn't at her desk. Liam noticed immediately. Her chair was pushed in, her computer off, no coffee cup sitting beside her keyboard. He checked his email. Nothing from her. No messages. No explanation. By noon, he was worried. He walked over to HR, trying to look casual. "Hey, Patricia," he said. "Do you know if Emily's out today?" Patricia glanced up from her computer. "She called in sick this morning." "Oh, okay. Is there something you need from her?" "No, no. Thanks." Liam went back to his desk and tried to focus on work, but his mind kept drifting. Emily never called in sick. In the year he'd known her, she'd been at work every single day, even when she had a cold, even when she looked exhausted. Something was wrong. Tuesday, she wasn't there either. Wednesday, Liam texted her. "Liam, hey, hope you're okay. Let me know if you need anything." 3 hours later, she replied, "Emily, I'm fine. Just needed a few days, thanks." It was polite, distant, not like her at all. Thursday morning, Emily was back. Liam saw her walk in, and relief flooded through him. But when she passed his desk, she didn't stop, didn't say hello. Just gave him a small, tight smile and kept walking. At lunch, she didn't come to the break room. Liam ate his sandwich alone, staring at the empty chair across from him, feeling like something had shifted and he didn't know how to shift it back. That afternoon, he caught her in the hallway. "Emily, wait." She stopped, turning to face him. She looked tired, more tired than he'd ever seen her. "Are you okay?" Liam asked. "I'm fine." "You don't seem fine." Emily's jaw tightened. "I'm fine, Liam." "Did I do something?" The question hung in the air between them. Emily looked at him, and for a moment he thought she might tell him the truth, but then she just shook her head. "No, you didn't do anything." "Then what?" "I just needed some space," Emily said quietly. "That's all." "Space from what?" Emily didn't answer. She just looked at him with those sad eyes, and Liam felt something twist in his chest. "Emily, I have a meeting," she said. "I'll see you later." She walked away before he could say anything else. Liam stood there in the hallway, feeling like he'd just lost something he didn't know he had. The rest of December was strange. Emily was still there, still polite, still professional, but the easy warmth between them was gone. She didn't bring him coffee, didn't check in when he looked stressed, didn't sit with him at lunch. She was pulling away, and Liam didn't know how to stop it. One evening, a week before Christmas, Liam stayed late to finish a report. He was the only one left on the floor, or so he thought. But when he walked past the break room, he saw Emily sitting at one of the tables, staring at nothing. He hesitated. Then he walked in. "Hey!" Emily looked up, startled. "Hey, I thought I was the only one here." "Yeah, me too." Liam sat down across from her. "You okay?" Emily gave him that same tight smile. "Fine. You keep saying that." "Because it's true." Liam leaned forward. "Emily, I don't know what I did, but if I hurt you—" "You didn't hurt me," Emily said quickly, too quickly. "Then why does it feel like you're avoiding me?" Emily looked down at her hands. "I'm not avoiding you." "Yes, you are." She didn't deny it this time. They sat in silence for a moment. Then Emily said, "Do you know what it's like to care about someone who doesn't see you?" Liam frowned. "What?" Emily laughed, but it was hollow. "Never mind. Forget I said anything." "Emily, I should go," she said, standing up. "Good night, Liam." She left before he could respond. Liam sat there alone, her words echoing in his head. "Do you know what it's like to care about someone who doesn't see you?" He thought about it all the way home, thought about it while he put Oliver to bed, thought about it while he lay awake in the dark, staring at the ceiling. And slowly, something began to click. Christmas came and went. Liam spent it with Oliver and his parents, who drove down on Christmas Eve and stayed through the weekend. His mother noticed immediately that something was off. "You seem distracted," she said on Christmas night after Oliver had gone to bed. "I'm fine," Liam said automatically. His mother gave him a look. "You're a terrible liar." Liam sighed. "It's just work stuff." "Work stuff or people stuff?" "Both." His mother sat down beside him on the couch. "You want to talk about it?" Liam thought about it. Then he said, "There's this woman at work, Emily. We've been friends, I guess. But lately, she's been pulling away, and I don't know why." "Did you ask her?" "She says she's fine. And you believe her?" "No." His mother smiled gently. "Have you considered that maybe she's not just a friend to you?" Liam looked at her, surprised. "What?" "You talk about her a lot, Liam, more than you realize." No, it's not like that. She helps me at work. And you think that's all it is?" Liam didn't answer. His mother patted his hand. "Sometimes we don't see what's right in front of us until it's almost gone." After his parents left, Liam couldn't stop thinking about what she'd said. He thought about Emily, really thought about her, about the way she smiled when she brought him coffee, the way she'd sat with Oliver in the car, glancing back at him with such tenderness, the way she'd looked at Liam sometimes, like he was more than just a coworker. And he thought about how empty work had felt without her these past few weeks. New Year's came. Liam spent it at home with Oliver, watching the ball drop on TV. Oliver fell asleep at 9:30, and Liam carried him to bed, then stood in the doorway of his son's room, watching him sleep. He thought about the year that had just ended, the year Emily had been in his life, and he realized something that made his chest tighten. He missed her, not just her help, not just her presence at work. He missed her. The next day, Liam went to the office early. He needed to talk to Emily, needed to figure out what the hell was happening between them. But when he got there, Emily's desk was empty again. Patricia from HR was walking by, and Liam stopped her. "Is Emily out today?" Patricia hesitated. "She requested some time off. She'll be back next week." "Oh, okay." Liam went to his desk and tried to focus on work. But all he could think about was Emily, about the way she'd looked at him in the break room, about the question she'd asked. "Do you know what it's like to care about someone who doesn't see you?" He'd been an idiot. She wasn't talking about someone else. She was talking about him. The realization hit him like a freight train. Emily loved him. How long? How long had she been carrying that? How many times had she smiled at him, helped him, been there for him, all while loving him in silence? Liam felt sick. He thought about every moment, every time she'd brought him coffee, every time she'd covered for him, every time she'd looked at him with those soft eyes, and he'd just not seen it. He'd been so focused on surviving, on Oliver, on work, on keeping his head above water. He hadn't noticed that someone was drowning right beside him, and that someone was Emily. The week dragged. Liam went through the motions: work, daycare pickup, dinner, bedtime, repeat. But his mind was somewhere else. He kept replaying moments, the way Emily had smiled when she first met him, the way she'd looked at Oliver with such warmth, the way she'd said, "If you ever need help, just ask." She'd been offering herself, not just her help, herself, and he'd been too blind to see it. Friday afternoon, Liam's phone buzzed. It was a text from Emily. "Emily, I'm coming back Monday. I wanted to let you know so it's not awkward." Liam stared at the message, then he typed back. "Liam, can we talk? Please?" 3 dots appeared, then disappeared, then appeared again. "Emily, I don't think that's a good idea." Liam, "Emily, please, I need to talk to you." Emily, "About what?" Liam hesitated, then he typed. "Liam, about us." The dots appeared and disappeared for a full minute. Then, "Emily, there is no us, Liam." The words hit him harder than he expected. "Liam, then let me fix that." No response. Liam waited. 5 minutes? 10. 20. Nothing. He set his phone down and put his head in his hands. Shut. Monday morning, Emily was at her desk when Liam arrived. She looked up when he walked in, and their eyes met for just a second before she looked away. Liam walked over to her desk. Emily. Hey, can we talk? Somewhere private? Emily hesitated, then she nodded. They went to the roof, the same place they'd gone months ago when the project had them working late. The city stretched out around them, gray and cold under the January sky. Emily leaned against the railing, arms crossed. She didn't look at him. What did you want to talk about? She asked. Liam took a breath. I know. You know what? I know how you feel about me. Emily went very still. And I'm sorry, Liam continued. I'm sorry I didn't see it. I'm sorry I took you for granted. I'm sorry I... Stop, Emily said quietly. Liam stopped. Emily turned to face him, and there were tears in her eyes. You don't get to apologize, she said. You didn't do anything wrong. I hurt you. You didn't know. I should have known. Emily shook her head. How? How were you supposed to know when I never said anything? Emily, I made a choice, she said, her voice breaking. I chose to love you quietly. I chose not to say anything because I knew you weren't ready, because I knew you had enough on your plate, because I didn't want to make your life harder. You wouldn't have made my life harder. Emily laughed, but it was bitter. Yes, I would have. You're a single dad, Liam. You're doing everything you can just to keep your head above water. You don't need someone like me complicating things. Someone like you? Someone who wants more than you can give. Liam stared at her. You don't know what I can give. Yes, I do, Emily said, because I've been watching you for over a year. I've seen how hard you work, how much you love Oliver, how little time you have for anything else. And I've been okay with that. I've been okay being your friend, your coworker, whatever you needed me to be. Then why are you pulling away now? Emily's face crumpled. Because I can't do it anymore. The words hung in the air between them. I can't keep pretending that this is enough, Emily continued, her voice barely above a whisper. I can't keep showing up every day, helping you, being there for you, and pretending that I don't want more. It's killing me. Liam felt something crack inside him. So what are you saying? He asked. Emily wiped at her eyes. I'm saying I need space. I need to figure out how to move on. Move on from what? From you. The words hit him like a punch to the gut. Emily, I'm sorry, she said. I know this isn't fair to you, but I have to do this. For me. Liam didn't know what to say. He stood there watching her cry, feeling like the ground had just dropped out from under him. I don't want you to move on, he said finally. Emily looked at him, surprised. What? I don't want you to move on from me. Liam, I know I've been blind, Liam said. I know I didn't see what was right in front of me, but I see it now, and I don't want to lose you. Emily shook her head. You don't mean that. Yes, I do. No, you don't. You're just saying that because you feel guilty. I'm saying it because it's true. Emily stared at him, searching his face. What are you saying, Liam? Liam took a step closer. I'm saying, I don't know. I don't have all the answers. I don't know how to do this. But I know I don't want to lose you. That's not enough, Emily said quietly. Then tell me what is. I need you to want me, Emily said, her voice breaking. Not just as a friend, not just as someone who makes your life easier. I need you to want me the way I want you. Liam looked at her, really looked at her, at the tears on her cheeks, at the way she was holding herself together by a thread, at the woman who had been there for him, day after day, asking for nothing in return. And he realized something. He did want her. Not just because she made his life easier, not just because she was kind and patient and good with Oliver. He wanted her because she was her, because she saw him, the messy, exhausted, imperfect parts of him, and stayed anyway. Because when he thought about his life without her in it, something inside him ached. I do want you, Liam said. Emily's breath caught. I don't know when it happened, Liam continued. I don't know if it's been there all along and I was too stupid to notice. But I know that when you weren't there these past few weeks, I felt it. I felt your absence like a hole in my chest. Liam, I know I'm not easy, Liam said. I know I come with baggage. I know my life is complicated and messy, and I can't promise you anything perfect. But if you're willing to give me a chance, I want to try. I want to try with you." Emily stared at him, tears streaming down her face. "You don't know what you're saying," she whispered. "Yes, I do." "No, you don't. You're overwhelmed. You're scared of losing me as a friend, but that's not the same as, 'I love you.'" The words came out before Liam even realized he was saying them. Emily froze. "I love you," Liam said again, more certain this time. "I don't know when it started. Maybe it was the first day when you brought me coffee and made me feel less alone. Maybe it was when you helped me with Oliver. Maybe it's been growing this whole time, and I was too much of an idiot to see it. But I love you, Emily, and I'm sorry it took me this long to figure it out." Emily was crying openly now, her hands covering her face. Liam stepped closer, gently pulling her hands away. "Please don't give up on me," he said. "I know I don't deserve it, but please." Emily looked up at him, her eyes red and swollen. "I've loved you for so long," she whispered. "I don't know how to believe that you love me back." "Then let me show you." "How?" Liam didn't have an answer. He just pulled her into his arms, holding her while she cried. They stood there on the roof, the cold wind whipping around them, and for the first time in a long time, Liam felt like he was exactly where he was supposed to be. They didn't go back to the office right away. They sat on the roof, talking, really talking. Emily told him about the first time she'd seen him, how he'd looked so lost and overwhelmed, and how she'd wanted to help him. She told him about the moment she'd realized she loved him, watching him with Oliver, seeing how gentle he was, how patient. "I tried to stop," Emily admitted. "I tried to convince myself it was just a crush, that it would go away. But it didn't, it just got stronger." Liam listened, his chest tight with guilt, and something else, something warm. "Why didn't you say anything?" he asked. Emily smiled sadly. "Because you had enough to deal with. And because I was scared. What if you didn't feel the same? What if it ruined everything? I'd rather have you as a friend than not have you at all." "You'll always have me," Liam said. "Friend or whatever this is." Emily looked at him. "What is this?" Liam thought about it. "I don't know, but I want to find out." Emily nodded slowly. "I'm scared." "Me too." "What if it doesn't work? What if it does?" Emily laughed, a real laugh this time. "You're not very good at reassurance." "I'm not good at a lot of things," Liam said, "but I'm good at trying, and I want to try with you." Emily leaned her head on his shoulder. "Okay." "Okay?" "Okay, let's try." They took it slow. Liam didn't know how to date. He'd been with Oliver's mother years ago, and that had ended in disaster. And since then, he'd been so focused on surviving that romance had seemed like a luxury he couldn't afford. But Emily made it easy. They started with small things, coffee in the mornings, just the two of them, lunch in the break room like they used to, but different now. There was a new awareness between them, a new tension, but the good kind. One evening, Liam invited Emily over for dinner. Oliver was excited. "Is Emily coming? The one from before?" "Yeah, buddy, she's coming." "Is she your girlfriend?" Liam hesitated. We're figuring it out." Oliver nodded sagely, like he understood. When Emily arrived, Oliver ran to the door. "Emily!" Emily laughed, scooping him up. "Hey, Oliver, you got so big." "I'm 4.5 now." "Wow, that's very grown up." Dinner was simple, spaghetti, because it was one of the 3 things Liam could cook without screwing up, but it felt special. Emily helped Oliver set the table. Oliver talked non-stop about dinosaurs. Emily listened like it was the most interesting thing in the world. After dinner, they sat on the couch while Oliver played with his toys on the floor. "This is nice," Emily said softly. "Yeah," Liam agreed. "Do you do this a lot? Have people over?" "Never," Liam admitted. "You're the first." Emily looked at him, surprised. "Really?" "Really." She smiled. "I'm honored." Later, after Oliver had gone to bed, they sat at the kitchen table with mugs of tea. "Can I ask you something?" Emily said. "Anything." "What happened with Oliver's mom?" Liam tensed. He'd known the question would come eventually, but it still hurt to talk about. We weren't together long, Liam said. A few months. It was intense. And then she got pregnant. We tried to make it work. We really did. But she wasn't ready to be a mom. And I wasn't ready to be a dad. But I didn't have a choice. What do you mean? She left, Liam said quietly. When Oliver was 6 months old, just left. Said she couldn't do it, that she wasn't cut out for this, and she was gone. Emily reached across the table and took his hand. I tried to find her, Liam continued, for Oliver's sake. But she didn't want to be found, so it's just been me and him ever since. That's a lot to carry. I don't think about it much anymore, Liam said. Oliver's my priority. Everything else is just background noise. Emily squeezed his hand. You're a good dad, Liam. I'm trying. You're more than trying. You're doing it. And you're doing it well. Liam looked at her, and something in his chest softened. Thank you, he said, for being here, for everything. I want to be here, Emily said. I've always wanted to be here. They sat in comfortable silence for a moment. Then Liam said, I'm not good at this. Relationships. I don't know what I'm doing. Neither do I. But I want to try, with you. Emily smiled. Then we'll figure it out together. Ito. February brought a shift. They were officially together now, though they kept it quiet at work. Not because they were hiding, but because it felt private. Sacred. Something just for them. Oliver adored Emily. He asked about her constantly. When was she coming over? Could she read him a bedtime story? Did she like dinosaurs? Emily handled it all with grace. She never overstepped. Never tried to be something she wasn't. She was just there, present, kind. One Saturday, the three of them went to the park. Oliver ran ahead, chasing pigeons, and Liam and Emily walked behind him, hand in hand. He's happy, Emily said. Yeah, he is. You are too. Liam looked at her. Yeah, I am. Emily smiled. Good. They sat on a bench while Oliver played on the swings. Emily leaned against Liam, and he put his arm around her. I keep waiting for the other shoe to drop, Liam admitted. What do you mean? I keep waiting for something to go wrong, for you to realize this is too much, that I'm too much. Emily turned to look at him. You're not too much. I come with a kid, and a messy apartment, and no free time, and I knew all of that when I fell in love with you, Emily interrupted. None of it scares me. It should. Well, it doesn't. Liam looked at her, and something in his chest loosened. I don't deserve you, he said. Emily smiled. You're probably right, but you're stuck with me anyway. Liam kissed her, right there in the park, with Oliver playing 10 feet away and the world moving around them. And for the first time in a long time, Liam felt like maybe, just maybe, things were going to be okay. Done. March came and went. Life settled into a rhythm. Work, home, Emily. The three of them became a unit, and it felt natural, easy, like it had always been this way. One evening, Liam was putting Oliver to bed when his son looked up at him and said, Daddy, is Emily going to stay? Liam's heart clenched. What do you mean, buddy? Is she going to stay with us? Like, forever? Liam sat down on the edge of the bed. Do you want her to? Oliver nodded. I like her. She's nice, and she makes you smile. Liam felt his throat tighten. She makes me smile, huh? Yeah, you didn't smile a lot before. Liam pulled Oliver into a hug, holding him tight. I'll do my best to make sure she stays, Liam whispered. Okay, Oliver said, already half asleep. Liam turned off the light and walked into the living room, where Emily was sitting on the couch, reading. She looked up when he came in. Everything okay? Yeah, Liam said, sitting down beside her. He asked if you're going to stay. Emily's eyes widened. What did you say? I said I'd do my best to make sure you do. Emily set down her book. And what if I want to stay? Liam looked at her. Then stay. Emily smiled, and it was the kind of smile that made everything else fade away. Okay, she said. I'll stay. And in that moment, Liam knew he'd found something he didn't even know he was looking for. He'd found home. But staying wasn't as simple as saying the words. April brought unexpected complications. Emily's lease was up at the end of the month, and she'd been planning to renew. But one night, sitting at Liam's kitchen table while Oliver slept in the next room, she mentioned it casually. I need to sign the renewal papers by Friday, she said, scrolling through her phone. Liam looked up from his laptop. For your apartment? Yeah, another year. Something twisted in Liam's chest. Another year in a place across town. Another year of her leaving at the end of every evening. Another year of compartmentalized lives that only intersected in carefully scheduled moments. What if you didn't? The words came out before he could stop them. Emily's thumb froze mid-scroll. What? Liam closed his laptop. What if you didn't renew? Liam, move in with us. Emily set her phone down slowly. You're not serious. I am. We've been together for 2 months. Almost 3. That's not long enough to, says who? Liam leaned forward. There's no rule book for this, Emily. You're here almost every night anyway. Oliver asks when you're coming over before he even asks what's for dinner. Half your stuff is already in my bathroom. Emily shook her head, but she was smiling. That's toothpaste and a hairbrush. It's a start. Liam, this is crazy. Maybe, but it also makes sense. Emily stood up, pacing the small kitchen. It makes sense financially, sure, split rent, split utilities, but that's not a reason to move in together. That's not why I'm asking. She stopped pacing, turning to face him. Then why are you asking? Liam stood up, closing the distance between them. Because I don't want you to leave at the end of the night anymore. Because Oliver goes to sleep asking if you'll be here for breakfast. Because when I think about coming home, I think about coming home to you. Not just visiting you, coming home to you. Emily's eyes were shining. This is too fast. For who? For normal people. We're not normal people, Liam said. I'm a single dad with a 4-year-old and about 6 hours of free time per week. You're a woman who somehow fell in love with that mess. Nothing about us is normal. Emily laughed, but it was shaky. What if it doesn't work? What if it does? You keep saying that because you keep asking the same question. Emily looked at him, searching his face. You really want this? I really want this. And Oliver? Have you talked to him about it? He's 4. He'd probably ask if you're bringing more dinosaurs. Emily smiled despite herself. I'm serious, Liam. This affects him too. I know, and I think it would be good for him. He's already attached to you. He trusts you. And honestly, having you here would make everything easier, not just for me. For him too. Emily bit her lip, and Liam could see her thinking it through, weighing the risks, the logistics, the very real possibility that this could blow up in their faces. Can I think about it? She asked finally. Of course. I'm not saying no. I need to process this. Take your time. But inside, Liam was terrified she'd say no. 3 days later, Emily brought it up again. They were at the park with Oliver, watching him climb on the jungle gym. Emily had been quiet all afternoon, and Liam could tell she was working through something. I talked to my landlord, Emily said suddenly. Liam's heart jumped. Yeah? He said I can break the lease if I give him 2 weeks' notice. Okay. Emily turned to look at him. I also made a list. A list? Of concerns, things we need to figure out before I move in. Liam nodded. Okay, let's hear it. Emily pulled out her phone, opening her notes app. First, space. Your apartment is small. Where would my stuff go? We'll make room, and I've got a storage unit for Oliver's baby stuff. We can move that out, use the closet in the hallway. Second, finances. How do we split rent and bills? 50-50, or we can do it proportional to income if that's easier. Third, Oliver. We need to establish boundaries. I'm not his parent. I don't want to overstep. Liam considered this. Fair, but I do want you to be able to help with him, not as a babysitter, as someone who lives here, someone he can rely on. Emily nodded slowly. Fourth, us. What happens if we break up? The question hit harder than Liam expected. Then we figure it out. You find a new place. We stay civil for Oliver's sake. We don't let it get ugly. And you think we can do that? I think we're both adults who care about each other. So yeah, I think we can. Emily scrolled through her list. Fifth, my family. They're going to have opinions. Do you care? Emily hesitated. I care that they'll think I'm making a mistake. Are you? Emily looked at him, and something in her expression softened. No, I don't think I am. Then that's all that matters. Emily locked her phone, sliding it back into her pocket. This is really happening, isn't it? Liam took her hand. Only if you want it to. Emily looked over at Oliver, who was hanging upside down from the monkey bars, giggling wildly. I want it to, she said quietly. 2 weeks later, Emily moved in. It wasn't a big production. She didn't have much. Most of her furniture had come with the furnished apartment. Just clothes, books, kitchen stuff, and a few boxes of personal things. Liam and Emily spent a Saturday moving everything while Oliver helped by carrying his own toys from one room to another. By evening, Emily's boxes were stacked in the living room, and the three of them sat on the floor eating pizza straight from the box. This is your home now, Liam said, gesturing around the cramped apartment. Emily smiled. It's perfect. Oliver, tomato sauce smeared across his face, looked up at her. Can you read me a bedtime story? Of course. That night, after Oliver was asleep, Liam and Emily unpacked her boxes together. It was mundane, domestic, but it felt significant, like they were building something real. Emily hung a few of her clothes in the closet next to Liam's. She put her books on the shelf beside his. She set her toothbrush in the cup next to his in the bathroom. And just like that, she was home. The first month was an adjustment. Emily was neat. Liam was not. She liked everything in its place. He left things wherever they landed. She woke up early, even on weekends. He would have slept until noon if Oliver let him. They bickered about small things, who left the milk out, whose turn it was to do dishes, whether the thermostat should be set to 68 or 72, but they also laughed a lot. Emily learned that Liam couldn't function without coffee. Liam learned that Emily reorganized things when she was stressed. Oliver learned that if he asked Emily for a snack after Liam said no, she'd check with Liam first, which he found deeply unfair. One evening in May, Liam came home from work to find Emily and Oliver in the kitchen, covered in flour. What happened here? Liam asked, trying not to laugh. We're making cookies, Oliver announced proudly. I can see that. Emily grinned, flour in her hair. He wanted to help. He's 4. He doesn't know what help means. He's doing great, Emily said, ruffling Oliver's hair. Liam watched them together, Emily patient and encouraging, Oliver excited and messy, and something in his chest tightened. This was what he'd been missing. Not just help with Oliver, not just someone to share the load. This warmth, this sense of family. Later, after Oliver was in bed and the kitchen was cleaned up, Liam pulled Emily onto the couch. Thank you, he said. For what? For being here, for making this feel like home. Emily kissed him softly. I'm exactly where I want to be. But not everyone was happy about the arrangement. In June, Emily's mother called. Liam was at work when it happened, so he didn't know anything was wrong until he came home and found Emily sitting on the couch, staring at her phone. Hey, Liam said, setting down his bag. You okay? Emily looked up, and her eyes were red. My mom called. Liam sat down beside her. What happened? She heard I moved in with you. My aunt told her. Okay? And, Emily laughed bitterly, she thinks I'm making a huge mistake, moving in with a man I've only been dating for a few months, taking on someone else's kid, throwing my life away. Liam felt anger flash through him. She said that. Not in those exact words, but that was the message. What did you say? Nothing. I just listened, and then I hung up. Liam pulled her into his arms. I'm sorry. It's not your fault. Still, I'm sorry she made you feel like this. Emily was quiet for a moment. Then she said, Do you ever wonder if she's right? Liam pulled back to look at her. Do you ever wonder if this is a mistake? If we move too fast? Do you think it's a mistake? Emily shook her head. No, but sometimes I wonder if I'm being reckless. If I'm ignoring all the warning signs because I want this so badly. What warning signs? Emily gestured vaguely. We barely knew each other. You have a kid. Your life is complicated. We jumped into this without thinking it through. Liam took her hands. Emily, look at me. She did. I don't care what your mother thinks, Liam said. I don't care what anyone thinks. This isn't reckless. This is us choosing each other. And yeah, maybe we moved fast, but I don't regret it. Do you? Emily's eyes filled with tears. No. Then that's all that matters. Emily leaned into him, and they sat there in silence, holding each other. The fight with her mother left a shadow, but Emily didn't let it consume her. She called her mom back a few days later and set boundaries. Firm ones. She told her mother that she loved Liam, that she loved Oliver, that this was her life and her choice. And if her mother couldn't support that, then they'd need some space. Her mother didn't take it well, but Emily stood her ground. Liam was proud of her, more than proud. He saw the strength it took to choose her own happiness over her family's approval, and it made him love her even more. Summer brought new rhythms. Liam's company gave him 2 weeks of vacation, and for the first time in years, he actually took it. He and Emily and Oliver spent a week at a beach town 3 hours away, staying in a cheap motel with a view of the ocean. Oliver was obsessed with the waves. He ran in and out of the water, shrieking with laughter, while Emily chased him and Liam watched from the sand. One evening, after Oliver had fallen asleep in the motel bed, Liam and Emily sat on the small balcony, drinking cheap wine and watching the sun set over the water. This is nice, Emily said. Yeah, we should do this more often. Agreed. Emily leaned her head on his shoulder. Do you think about the future? Sometimes. What do you see? Liam thought about it. Honestly, I see this. You, me, Oliver, maybe a bigger apartment, maybe a dog. Nothing fancy. Just us. Emily smiled. That sounds perfect. What do you see? Emily hesitated. I see the same thing, but sometimes I also see more. More? Emily turned to look at him. Like maybe another kid. Someday. Liam's heart skipped. You want kids? I don't know. Maybe. Do you? Liam looked out at the ocean, processing. He'd never thought about having more kids. Oliver had been unplanned, and raising him alone had been so hard that the idea of doing it again had never crossed his mind. But with Emily? The idea didn't seem impossible. It seemed possible. Maybe even good. I think I could, Liam said finally. Someday, if that's something you want. Emily smiled, and it was soft and hopeful. Someday. They didn't talk about it again after that. But the seed had been planted. When they got back from vacation, Liam started noticing things he hadn't before. The way Emily looked at babies when they passed them on the street. The way she lit up when one of her coworkers announced a pregnancy. The way she'd pause sometimes when putting Oliver to bed, like she was imagining a smaller version in the crib. And Liam started imagining it too. A little girl with Emily's eyes. Or another boy who'd be Oliver's best friend. A bigger family, more chaos, more love. It scared him, but it also felt right. In August, Liam's parents came to visit. They'd met Emily briefly once before, but this was the first time they were seeing her as part of the family, as someone who lived with Liam, as someone serious. Liam's mother took one look at Emily and pulled her into a hug. It's so good to see you again, she said warmly. You too, Mrs. Carter. Call me Linda, please. Liam's father, a quiet man who didn't say much unless he had something important to say, shook Emily's hand. You're good for him, he said simply. Emily blushed. Thank you. They spent the weekend together, dinners, a trip to the zoo with Oliver, lazy mornings with coffee and conversation. And by the time Liam's parents left, his mother pulled him aside. She's the one, isn't she? Linda said. Liam nodded. Yeah, she is. Don't let her go. I won't. His mother smiled. Good. Because that woman loves you. And more importantly, she loves Oliver. That's rare, Liam. Don't take it for granted. I won't, Liam said again. And he meant it. But life had a way of testing things just when they felt secure. In September, Liam's company announced layoffs. It came out of nowhere. Budget cuts, restructuring, a dozen people let go, effective immediately. Liam wasn't one of them. But Emily was. She came home that afternoon, pale and shaking, and told him, "They let me go." Liam felt the floor drop out from under him. What? Last hired, first fired. That's what they said. That's not... There has to be something we can do. File a complaint, talk to HR. Emily shook her head. There's nothing. They gave me 2 weeks severance. That's it. Liam pulled her into his arms, and she finally let herself cry. That night, they sat at the kitchen table going through their finances. We can cover rent for a few months, Liam said. My salary should be enough if we're careful. I'll find something, Emily said. I'll start looking tomorrow. Say, you don't have to rush. Yes, I do. I'm not going to sit around while you carry all the weight. Liam reached across the table, taking her hand. We're in this together, okay? We'll figure it out. Emily nodded, but he could see the fear in her eyes. The next few weeks were hard. Emily applied to dozens of jobs. She had interviews, but nothing panned out. The market was tight. Everyone was hiring entry-level or senior level. No one wanted someone with her exact experience. She started getting discouraged. Liam tried to stay positive, but the stress was getting to him too. Money was tight. Oliver needed new shoes. The car needed an oil change. Everything felt like it was piling up. One night, Liam snapped. He'd come home exhausted, and the apartment was a mess. Toys everywhere. Dishes in the sink. Emily was on the couch, laptop open, scrolling through job listings. Did Oliver eat dinner? Liam asked, trying to keep his voice level. Emily looked up. Yeah, mac and cheese. Again? It's what he wanted. Liam set down his bag. Emily, he can't eat mac and cheese every night. Then you cook for him. The words hung in the air, sharp and unexpected. Liam stared at her. What? Emily closed her laptop. I've been applying to jobs for 6 hours today. I made Oliver lunch. I picked him up from daycare. I gave him dinner. I gave him a bath. I'm doing the best I can, Liam. I didn't say you weren't. Yes, you did. You just said it nicer. Liam felt his frustration boil over. I'm not trying to attack you. I'm tired. I'm working overtime to cover the bills, and I come home to this. Emily stood up. To what? To me trying to hold everything together while I'm unemployed and terrified we're going to run out of money? That's not what I meant. Then what did you mean? Liam didn't have an answer. Emily grabbed her laptop and walked into the bedroom, closing the door behind her. Liam stood there at the kitchen, staring at the closed door, feeling like an asshole. He knocked softly a few minutes later. Emily? No response. Can I come in? It's your apartment. Liam opened the door. Emily was sitting on the bed, staring at the wall. He sat down beside her. I'm sorry. Emily didn't look at him. You're stressed. I get it. That's not an excuse. No, it's not. Liam ran a hand through his hair. I shouldn't have said that. You're doing everything you can. I know that. Emily finally looked at him. I feel useless. You're not useless. I'm not contributing. You're paying for everything. I'm just here. You're not just here. You're taking care of Oliver. You're keeping this place running. That's not nothing. Emily's eyes filled with tears. I want to be contributing financially too. You will. You'll find something. It just takes time. What if I don't? You will. Emily wiped at her eyes. I'm scared, Liam. Liam pulled her close. I know, me too. They sat there together, holding each other, and Liam realized something. This was the first real fight they'd had. The first time the cracks had shown. But they'd gotten through it, and that had to mean something. A week later, Emily got a call. Liam was at work when she texted him. Emily, I got a job offer. Liam's heart leapt. Liam, that's amazing. Where? Emily, small marketing firm. Less pay than before, but it's something. Liam, when do you start? Emily, 2 weeks. Liam, I'm so proud of you. Emily, I'm just relieved. That night they celebrated with takeout and a movie. Oliver fell asleep halfway through, and Liam carried him to bed. When he came back, Emily was on the couch, looking more relaxed than she had in weeks. "You okay?" Liam asked, sitting beside her. Emily nodded. "Yeah, I think I am." Liam kissed her forehead. "We made it through." "Yeah, we did." And for the first time in weeks, Liam felt like they were going to be okay. October came, and Emily started her new job. It was different from her old one, smaller company, tighter budget, more hands-on work. But she liked it, and more importantly, it gave her a sense of purpose again. Things at home settled back into a rhythm. Emily was working, Liam was working, Oliver was thriving in pre-K. They were managing. One evening in late October, Liam was putting Oliver to bed when his son said, "Daddy, when is Emily going to be my mom?" Liam froze. "What?" Oliver looked up at him with wide, innocent eyes. "The other kids at school have moms. I want Emily to be my mom." Liam sat down on the edge of the bed. "Emily's not your mom, buddy, but she loves you very much." "Can't she be my mom if she loves me?" Liam's chest tightened. "It's more complicated than that." "Why?" Because your mom is someone else, even if she's not here." Oliver thought about this. "But Emily's here. Doesn't that make her my mom?" Liam didn't know what to say. Later, he told Emily about the conversation. They were in bed, the lights off, the apartment quiet. "He asked if you could be his mom," Liam said. Emily went very still. "What did you say?" "I said it was complicated." Emily was quiet for a long moment. Then she said, "Do you think it is complicated?" "I don't know." Emily turned to face him. "I love him, Liam. I love him like he's mine." "I know. But I don't want to overstep. I don't want to replace anyone." "You're not replacing anyone. His mom chose not to be in his life. You chose to be in it. That's not the same thing." Emily's voice was soft. "What are you saying?" Liam took a breath. "I'm saying, if you want to be his mom, in whatever way that means, I'm okay with that." Emily's eyes filled with tears. "Really? Really?" She kissed him, and it was soft and full of promise. And in that moment, Liam realized something. They weren't just building a relationship, they were building a family. But building a family wasn't something that happened overnight. And Liam was reminded of that fact one cold November morning when his phone rang at 6 a.m. He fumbled for it in the dark, Emily still asleep beside him. "Hello? Is this Liam Carter?" A woman's voice, crisp and professional. "Yeah, who's this?" "This is Detective Sarah Mills with the state police. I'm calling about Jennifer Dawson." Liam's blood went cold. Jennifer, Oliver's mother. The woman who'd walked out 5 years ago and never looked back. "What about her?" Liam asked, his voice tight. Emily stirred beside him, opening her eyes. "I'm afraid there's been an accident," the detective said. "Ms. Dawson was involved in a car collision 3 days ago. She passed away yesterday morning." Liam sat up, the phone pressed to his ear, trying to process the words. "She's dead?" Emily sat up immediately, her hand on his arm. "Yes, sir. I'm very sorry. We found your contact information listed as her emergency contact from several years ago. We're notifying next of kin." "I'm not next of kin," Liam said. "We weren't together. She left years ago." "I understand, but according to our records, you share a child?" "Yes. Oliver. He's 5. "I see. Well, there are some legal matters we'll need to discuss. Ms. Dawson had a will. You and your son are mentioned in it." Liam's head was spinning. "A will?" "Yes. Nothing significant, but there are some personal effects and a small savings account. We'll need you to come down to the station to go over the details." "Okay. When?" "Whenever is convenient for you. We're open until 6. "I'll come by this afternoon." "Thank you, Mr. Carter. Again, I'm very sorry for your loss." Liam hung up and sat there, staring at the wall. "What happened?" Emily asked gently. "Jennifer's dead. Car accident." Emily's hand tightened on his arm. "Oh my God. Liam, I'm so sorry." Liam shook his head. "I don't even know how to feel about this." "What do you mean?" "She left us. She walked away from Oliver when he was 6 months old. I haven't heard from her in 5 years. And now she's dead, and I'm supposed to. What? Mourn her? Emily didn't say anything. She just held his hand. I don't feel sad, Liam said quietly. I feel nothing. Is that wrong? No, it's not wrong. What do I tell Oliver? Emily considered this. Do you have to tell him anything? She's his mother. She was his biological mother, but she wasn't in his life. He doesn't remember her. Liam looked at Emily. You think I shouldn't tell him? I think you should wait. He's 5. He doesn't need to process death and abandonment at the same time. Tell him when he's older, when he can understand. Liam nodded slowly. Yeah, okay. That afternoon, Liam went to the police station alone. Detective Mills was a woman in her 40s with kind eyes and a no-nonsense demeanor. She led him to a small office and laid out the paperwork. Ms. Dawson's will is straightforward, she said. She left a savings account with about $8,000 in it. It's to be split between you and Oliver. Why me? The will was written 6 years ago, shortly after your son was born. It hasn't been updated since. Liam stared at the document 6 years ago, before she left, when she'd still been trying. There are also some personal items, Detective Mills continued. Photographs, jewelry, letters. They're being held in evidence until the estate is settled, but you're welcome to claim them. I don't want them. The detective raised an eyebrow. Are you sure? Keep the photos. Maybe Oliver will want them someday, but I don't need anything else. Understood. She made a note. There's one more thing, Ms. Dawson's parents are requesting contact with Oliver. Liam's stomach dropped. What? They live out of state. They didn't know about the accident until we contacted them. They're asking if they can meet their grandson. No. Mr. Carter? No. They didn't care about him for 5 years. They don't get to show up now that she's dead. Detective Mills nodded carefully. I understand your position, but legally, as grandparents, they may have a case for visitation rights. Well, let them try, Liam said. I'll fight it. The detective didn't push. She just handed him a business card. If they reach out to you directly, call me. We'll handle it through the proper channels. Liam took the card and left. When he got home, Emily was in the kitchen making dinner. Oliver was at the table, coloring. Daddy! Oliver jumped up and ran to him. Liam scooped him up, holding him tight. Hey, buddy. I drew you a picture. It's a T-Rex eating a car. That's terrifying. I love it. Oliver giggled, squirming down and running back to his drawing. Emily looked at Liam, her eyes full of questions. Later, Liam mouthed. That night, after Oliver was asleep, Liam told Emily everything. Her parents want to meet him, Liam said, after 5 years of nothing. Emily frowned. Do they have a case? The detective said they might. Grandparent visitation rights or something. What do you want to do? Liam rubbed his face. I want to tell them to go to hell. They didn't want anything to do with us when Jennifer left. They didn't call. Didn't check in. Didn't send birthday cards. Nothing. And now they want access to Oliver because she's dead? That's not fair to him. Exactly. Emily was quiet for a moment. Then she said, What if they've changed? Liam looked at her. What? What if losing their daughter made them realize what they lost? What if they genuinely want to be part of Oliver's life? They don't deserve it. Maybe not. But does Oliver deserve to know his grandparents? Liam felt anger flash through him. You're taking their side? I'm not taking anyone's side. I'm just saying, maybe it's worth considering. They abandoned him, Emily. No, Jennifer abandoned him. And yeah, they didn't reach out, but maybe they didn't know how. Maybe they were ashamed. Maybe they thought you wouldn't want to hear from them. Liam stood up, pacing. I don't want them in his life. Why? Because they'll hurt him. They'll show up, play grandparents for a while, and then disappear when it gets hard, just like she did. Emily stood up, walking over to him. You don't know that. Yes, I do. Liam. She put her hands on his chest. I know you're scared, but you can't make decisions based on fear. I'm not. Yes, you are. You're afraid they'll hurt him. You're afraid they'll let him down. But what if they don't? What if they're good for him? Liam shook his head. I can't risk it. Emily sighed. Okay, then don't. But at least think about it. Liam didn't want to think about it. But over the next few days, he couldn't stop. A week later, Jennifer's parents called. Liam saw the unfamiliar number and almost didn't answer, but something made him pick up. Hello? Liam? A woman's voice, older, shaky. This is Margaret, Jennifer's mother. Liam's grip tightened on the phone. What do you want? I know you probably don't want to hear from me, but I wanted to reach out about Oliver. No. Please, just hear me out. There's nothing to hear. You didn't want anything to do with him before. You don't get to change your mind now. Margaret's voice broke. I know we failed him. We failed you. But losing Jennifer, it's made us realize how much we've lost, and we don't want to lose our grandson too. You don't even know him. I know, and that's our fault. But we'd like to change that, if you'll let us. Liam closed his eyes. Why now? Why not 5 years ago? Margaret was quiet for a moment. Because 5 years ago, we were angry. At Jennifer for leaving. At you for, I don't know, existing, I suppose. We blamed you for her unhappiness, and that was wrong. I see that now. You blamed me? We were looking for someone to blame, and you were easy. But it wasn't your fault. Jennifer made her own choices. Liam felt something loosen in his chest, but the anger was still there. What do you want from me? Just a chance. To meet him. To be part of his life. We're not trying to replace you. We just want to know our grandson. Liam didn't answer. Please, Margaret said. We're all he has left of Jennifer, and he's all we have left of her. Liam hung up without saying goodbye. That night, he told Emily about the call. What do you think? Emily asked. I think she's manipulating me. Maybe. Or maybe she's grieving. Liam looked at her. You really think I should let them meet him? Emily hesitated. I think you should do whatever feels right. But I also think Oliver deserves to have as many people love him as possible. And if they're willing to show up, maybe they deserve a chance. One chance, Liam said. If they screw it up, they're done. Emily nodded. One chance. Liam called Margaret back the next day. You get one visit, he said. One afternoon. If it goes well, we'll talk about more. If it doesn't, you don't contact us again. Margaret's voice was thick with emotion. Thank you. Thank you so much. They scheduled it for the following Saturday. Margaret and her husband, David, would drive in from 2 states over. They'd meet at a park, neutral territory. Liam didn't tell Oliver who they were, just said they were some old friends who wanted to meet him. Saturday came too quickly. Liam was nervous, Emily could tell. She squeezed his hand as they walked to the park, Oliver running ahead. Margaret and David were already there, sitting on a bench. They stood up when they saw Liam approaching. Margaret was a small woman with graying hair and Jennifer's eyes. David was tall and quiet, his hands shoved in his pockets. Liam, Margaret said, her voice trembling. Margaret! David! They looked at Oliver, and Margaret's eyes filled with tears. He looks just like her, she whispered. Oliver, oblivious, ran up to them. Are you Daddy's friends? Margaret knelt down. Yes, sweetheart, we are. Oliver studied her. What's your name? I'm Margaret, and this is David. Do you like dinosaurs? Margaret laughed, wiping at her eyes. I don't know much about them, but I'd love to learn. And just like that, Oliver launched into a detailed explanation of the differences between herbivores and carnivores. Liam watched, his chest tight, as Margaret and David listened with rapt attention. Emily stood beside him, her hand in his. They're trying, she said quietly. Yeah, Liam said. They are. The afternoon went better than Liam expected. Margaret and David were kind, patient. They asked Oliver questions, laughed at his stories, and didn't push. They didn't try to tell him who they were. They just let him be a kid. At one point, Oliver ran off to the playground, and Margaret turned to Liam. Thank you for this, she said. I know it wasn't easy. Liam nodded. He's my priority. If you're going to be in his life, you have to be all in. No disappearing when it gets hard. We won't, David said. It was the first time he'd spoken. We lost our daughter. We're not losing our grandson, too. Liam looked at him, and something in David's expression told him the man meant it. When the afternoon ended, Margaret asked if they could visit again. Liam looked at Emily. She nodded slightly. Yeah, Liam said. We can do that. Margaret hugged him, and Liam let her. On the drive home, Oliver was quiet. Did you have fun? Emily asked. Yeah, they were nice. They were. Oliver looked up at Liam. Daddy, why did they cry when they saw me? Liam glanced at Emily, then back at the road. Because they were happy to meet you. Why? Because you're a pretty great kid. Oliver seemed satisfied with that answer. That night, after Oliver was asleep, Liam sat on the couch with Emily. You were right, he said. About what? Giving them a chance. It was the right thing to do. Emily smiled. I'm glad. Liam pulled her close. I don't know what I'd do without you. Good thing you don't have to find out. December came, and with it, the holidays. Margaret and David visited twice more, and each time it got easier. Oliver started to warm up to them. He showed them his drawings, told them about school, let Margaret read him stories. Liam still kept his guard up, but he could see they were trying, really trying. One evening in mid-December, Emily was wrapping presents at the kitchen table while Liam did dishes. Can I ask you something? Emily said. Sure. Do you ever think about getting married? Liam nearly dropped the plate he was holding. What? Emily didn't look up from the wrapping paper. I'm just curious. Liam turned off the water, drying his hands. Where's this coming from? Nowhere specific. I've just been thinking about it. Liam sat down across from her. Are you asking me to marry you? Emily laughed. No, I'm just asking if you've thought about it. Liam considered the question. Honestly, yeah, I've thought about it. Emily looked up, surprised. You have? Yeah, we're basically already a family. You live here. You help with Oliver. We split everything. Marriage just feels like the next step. The next step, Emily repeated. That doesn't sound very romantic. Liam winced. That came out wrong. Did it? Yeah, what I meant was, I love you. I want to spend the rest of my life with you. Marriage makes sense because I can't imagine my life without you in it. Emily set down the scissors. That's better. Liam reached across the table, taking her hand. I'm not good at the romantic stuff. You know that. But I'm serious. If you want to get married, I want that too. Emily smiled. Are you proposing? I don't have a ring. I don't need a ring. Liam stood up, walking around the table. He knelt down beside her chair. Emily Ross, he said. Will you marry me? Emily's eyes filled with tears. You're really doing this? Yeah, I really am. In the kitchen, while I'm wrapping presents? It's not a fancy restaurant, but it's us. Messy and imperfect and real. Emily laughed through her tears. Yes. Yes? Yes, I'll marry you. Liam kissed her, and it felt like everything finally clicking into place. They didn't tell Oliver right away. They wanted to figure out the details first. When, where, how big. Emily wanted something small. Liam wanted whatever made her happy. But a week later, Oliver found Emily looking at wedding dresses on her laptop. What are those? He asked, climbing onto the couch beside her. Emily glanced at Liam, who was reading on the other end of the couch. They're wedding dresses, Emily said carefully. Are you getting married? Emily looked at Liam again. He nodded. Yes, Emily said. Your dad and I are getting married. Oliver's eyes went wide. Really? Really? Oliver thought about this. Then he said, Does that mean you're my mom now? Emily's breath caught. Do you want me to be? Oliver nodded. Yeah, I want you to be my mom. Emily pulled him into a hug, tears streaming down her face. Liam watched them, and something in his chest felt so full it hurt. This was his family. Imperfect, complicated. Built from broken pieces and second chances. but his. They planned the wedding for April, small, just close friends and family. Margaret and David were invited, and they cried when they got the invitation. Liam's parents were thrilled. His mother immediately started planning, despite Emily's protests, that it was going to be simple. "Every wedding needs a little fuss," Linda said. "Let me help." Emily gave in. The months leading up to the wedding were chaotic. Work was busy. Oliver started kindergarten. Emily was planning the wedding while also trying to keep up with her job. Liam was juggling everything, trying to be supportive without getting in the way. But through it all, they had each other. One night in February, Liam came home to find Emily sitting at the kitchen table, surrounded by seating charts and vendor contracts, looking overwhelmed. "You okay?" he asked. Emily looked up. "I'm trying to figure out how to fit 30 people into a venue that's designed for 20. Liam sat down beside her. "Why don't we just elope?" Emily laughed. "Don't tempt me. I'm serious. Let's just go to the courthouse. You, me, Oliver. Keep it simple." Emily looked at him. "You'd be okay with that?" "I'd be more than okay with it. I just want to marry you. I don't care how." Emily considered this. Then she said, "What about your mom? She's been planning this for months." "She'll get over it." Emily smiled. "You're sure?" "I'm sure." Emily closed her laptop. "Okay, let's do it." They eloped 3 weeks later, just the three of them. Liam in a suit, Emily in a simple white dress, Oliver in a tiny blazer that made him look impossibly grown up. They went to the courthouse on a Tuesday morning. The ceremony took 10 minutes. The officiant was a kind woman in her 60s who smiled at them like she knew something they didn't yet. When she pronounced them husband and wife, Liam kissed Emily like his life depended on it. Oliver clapped. "Does this mean we're a real family now?" Liam knelt down. "We were always a real family, buddy. This just makes it official." Oliver grinned. "Cool." They went out for pancakes afterward. It was simple, unremarkable, nothing like the weddings in movies, but it was perfect. That night, after Oliver was asleep, Liam and Emily lay in bed together. "Mrs. Carter," Liam said, testing the name. Emily smiled. "That's me. How does it feel?" "Right." Liam pulled her close. "I love you. I love you too." They lay there in the dark, and Liam thought about everything that had brought them to this moment. The loneliness, the fear, the mistakes, the second chances. All of it had led here, to this woman, this life, this family. And for the first time in a long time, Liam felt like he'd finally found his way home. But even happy endings have their complications, and Liam was reminded of that a few weeks later when his manager called him into the office. "Liam, we're expanding, opening a new branch across the country, and we want you to lead the team." Liam stared at him. "What?" "It's a promotion, significant raise, relocation assistance, everything." "Where?" "West Coast, 3,000 miles from here." Liam's stomach dropped. "I can't relocate." "Why not?" "My family, my son's school, my wife's job, everything's here." His manager leaned back. "Think about it. It's a great opportunity." "I don't need to think about it. The answer is no." But that night, when he told Emily, she surprised him. "What if we did it?" she said. Liam looked at her like she'd grown a second head. "What?" "What if we moved, started fresh somewhere new? Emily, your job, I can find another job. I'm good at what I do." "And Oliver's school? Kids adapt. And your family?" Emily was quiet. "My family and I are complicated. A little distance might be good." Liam shook his head. "I can't ask you to give up everything." "You're not asking. I'm offering." "Why?" Emily looked at him. "Because this is your dream job, Liam, and because I want to build a life with you, wherever that is." Liam pulled her into his arms. "You're incredible. I know." They talked about it for weeks, weighed the pros and cons, talked to Oliver, who was surprisingly excited about the idea of living near the ocean. Margaret and David were heartbroken, but supportive. Liam's parents were sad but understanding, and in the end, they decided to do it. They gave notice at their jobs, put in an application for a school in the new city, started packing. It was terrifying and exciting and completely insane, but it was theirs. And as Liam watched Emily pack up their life into boxes, laughing with Oliver about which toys to bring and which to donate, he realized something. Home wasn't a place. It was the people you chose to build a life with. And he'd chosen well. The move happened in May, just as the weather turned warm and the city they were leaving behind started to bloom. Liam stood in the empty apartment one last time, the walls bare, the floors echoing with each step. 2 years ago, he'd moved into this place alone with Oliver, desperate and exhausted, just trying to survive. Now he was leaving with a wife, a family, and something that felt dangerously close to hope. Emily appeared in the doorway, keys in hand. "Ready?" Liam nodded. "Yeah, let's go." The drive across the country took 5 days. They made a road trip out of it, stopping at diners with sticky tables and motels with questionable wallpaper. Oliver was thrilled, treating every rest stop like an adventure. Emily navigated while Liam drove, and somewhere in the middle of Kansas, she reached over and squeezed his hand. "You nervous?" she asked. "Terrified," Liam admitted. "Me too. But we're doing it anyway." Emily smiled. "Yeah, we are." When they finally pulled into their new city, the ocean stretched out before them like a promise. Oliver pressed his face against the window, eyes wide. "Is that the ocean?" he breathed. "That's the ocean," Liam confirmed. "Can we go swimming?" "Soon, buddy. First we have to unpack." Their new apartment was smaller than the old one, but it had a balcony with a view of the water. Emily stood on it that first night, breathing in the salt air, and Liam came up behind her, wrapping his arms around her waist. "What do you think?" he asked. "I think we're crazy." "Good crazy or bad crazy?" Emily leaned back against him. "Good crazy." The first few weeks were an adjustment. Liam started his new job, and it was everything his old manager had promised: challenging, rewarding, exhausting. He was leading a team of 12, managing projects he'd only dreamed about before. But the hours were long, and he came home most nights drained. Emily was still job hunting. She'd sent out dozens of applications, but nothing had come through yet. She tried to stay positive, but Liam could see the frustration building. Oliver started at his new school and hated it immediately. "The kids are mean," he told Liam one night at dinner. "They make fun of how I talk." Liam's heart sank. "How you talk?" "They say I sound weird because I'm not from here." Emily reached across the table, taking Oliver's hand. "There's nothing wrong with how you talk. They're just not used to it yet." "I want to go back home." "This is home now," Liam said gently. "I know it's hard, but give it time." Oliver pulled his hand away. "I don't want to give it time. I want to go back." He got up from the table and went to his room, slamming the door. Liam looked at Emily. Maybe this was a mistake. It wasn't. He's miserable. He's adjusting. Kids are resilient. What if he's not? Emily stood up, walking over to Liam and sitting on his lap. "Then we'll figure it out, together, like we always do." Liam buried his face in her shoulder. "I'm so tired." "I know. I feel like I'm failing at everything." Emily pulled back to look at him. "You're not failing. You're trying. There's a difference." But Liam didn't feel like there was a difference. He felt like he was drowning, and for the first time in a long time, he didn't know how to keep his head above water. A week later, Emily got a job offer. It wasn't what she'd been hoping for, a temporary contract position, lower pay than her last job, no benefits. But it was something. "Should I take it?" she asked Liam that night. "Do you want to take it?" Emily hesitated. "I don't know. It feels like settling." "Then don't take it." "But we need the money." Liam shook his head. "We're fine. My salary covers us. You don't have to take a job you don't want." "I want to contribute." "You are contributing. You're keeping this place running. You're helping Oliver adjust. That's not nothing." Emily looked at him, and her eyes were wet. "I feel useless." "You're not useless. You're just in transition. Give yourself time." Emily wiped at her eyes. "When did you become the wise one?" "I learned from the best." She kissed him, and it was soft and grateful. 2 days later, she turned down the job offer. A week after that, she got a call from a company she'd applied to months ago. They wanted her to come in for an interview. It's a marketing director position, Emily told Liam, her voice shaking with excitement. Full-time, great benefits, and the pay is almost double what I was making before. That's amazing. I don't want to get my hopes up. Get your hopes up. You're going to kill that interview. Emily did kill the interview. She came home 2 hours later, flushed and breathless. How'd it go? Liam asked. I think I got it. You think? They said they'd call me by the end of the week. But the way they were talking, I think I got it. Liam picked her up and spun her around, and Emily laughed, the sound filling the apartment. She got the offer 2 days later. When she told Liam, he pulled her into his arms and held her tight. I'm so proud of you, he said. I couldn't have done it without you. Yes, you could have. Emily pulled back to look at him. No, I couldn't. You believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. You told me to wait for the right thing. And you were right. Liam kissed her forehead. We make a good team. Yeah, we do. Things started to settle after that. Emily started her new job and loved it. Liam's workload evened out, and slowly Oliver began to adjust. He made a friend at school, a quiet kid named Marcus who also liked dinosaurs. They started having play dates, and Oliver came home smiling again. One evening in July, the three of them went to the beach. Oliver ran into the waves, shrieking with laughter, while Liam and Emily sat on the sand watching. He's happy, Emily said. Yeah, he is. You are too. Liam looked at her. Yeah, I am. Emily leaned her head on his shoulder. I'm glad we did this. Me too. They sat there in the fading light, watching their son play, and Liam felt something he hadn't felt in a long time. Peace. But peace, Liam was learning, was fragile. In August, Liam's father had a heart attack. It was minor, the doctors said, but it was a warning. Liam flew back east immediately, leaving Emily and Oliver behind. His father was in the hospital for 3 days. Liam sat beside his bed, watching the monitors beep, feeling helpless. I'm fine, his father said on the second day. Stop looking at me like I'm dying. You scared the hell out of me. His father smiled weakly. I scared myself. Liam's mother sat on the other side of the bed, holding her husband's hand. She looked older than Liam remembered, tired. You need to take care of yourself, Dad, Liam said. I know. I'm serious. No more ignoring the doctor. No more skipping your medication. I hear you. Good. His father looked at him, and there was something soft in his expression. I'm proud of you, son. Liam's throat tightened. For what? For everything. For how you've handled your life. For Oliver. For Emily. For taking that job and moving across the country, even though it scared you. You've become a good man. Liam felt tears prick his eyes. Thanks, Dad. I mean it. Don't forget that. Liam flew back home 3 days later, and when he walked into the apartment, Emily was waiting. She didn't say anything, just pulled him into her arms and held him. How is he? She asked finally. He's okay. Stubborn as hell, but okay. Good. Liam pulled back to look at her. I don't know what I'd do without you. Lucky for you, you'll never have to find out. That night, lying in bed, Liam stared at the ceiling and thought about mortality, about how fragile everything was, how quickly it could all fall apart. Emily? He said into the darkness. Yeah? If something happened to me, don't. I'm serious. If something happened to me, you'd take care of Oliver, right? Emily turned to face him. Nothing's going to happen to you. But if it did, yes, of course I would. He's my son, too. Liam felt something loosen in his chest. Okay, good. Emily reached for his hand. Nothing's going to happen to you, Liam. You're stuck with us for a long time. Liam squeezed her hand. Good. September came, and with it, Oliver's 6th birthday. They threw him a party at the apartment, small, just a few kids from school and Marcus. Emily made a dinosaur cake that was lopsided but perfect. Oliver blew out the candles with such force that wax splattered across the frosting. Make a wish, buddy. Liam said. Oliver closed his eyes tight, then opened them. Done. What'd you wish for? I can't tell you, then it won't come true. Later, after the guests had left and Oliver was in bed, Liam and Emily cleaned up the living room. That was a good party, Emily said, scraping frosting off a plate. Yeah, he seemed happy. He is happy. We did good. Liam set down the trash bag he was holding and pulled Emily into his arms. What's this for? She asked, smiling. Just thank you. For what? For everything. For loving him. For loving me. For uprooting your whole life and moving across the country. For being exactly what we needed. Emily's eyes filled with tears. You don't have to thank me for that. Yes, I do. Emily kissed him, and it was slow and full of everything they'd built together. That night, after Emily had fallen asleep, Liam lay awake thinking about the past 2 years, about the day he'd met Emily in the office, lost and overwhelmed, about the way she'd quietly become essential to his life, about the moment on the roof when she'd broken down and told him the truth, about the decision to let her in, even though it terrified him. He thought about all the moments that had led them here, the fights, the compromises, the leap of faith to move across the country, the way they'd built a life together, piece by piece, even when it felt impossible. And he realized something. Love wasn't about finding someone perfect. It was about finding someone willing to stay when things got hard. Someone who saw your mess and didn't run. Someone who chose you, over and over again, even when it would have been easier to walk away. Emily had done that for him, and he'd done it for her. October brought unexpected news. Emily was late. She didn't say anything at first, just waited. Watched the calendar. Hoped she was wrong. But when 2 weeks passed and still nothing, she took a test. Liam was at work when she called him. Can you come home? She asked, her voice shaking. What's wrong? Nothing's wrong. Just, can you come home? Liam left immediately. When he got to the apartment, Emily was sitting on the couch holding something in her hands. What is it? Liam asked. Emily looked up at him, tears streaming down her face. I'm pregnant. Liam felt the world tilt. You're, what? Emily held up the pregnancy test. 2 pink lines. Liam sat down beside her, staring at the test like it might change if he looked at it long enough. Are you sure? He asked. I took 3 tests. They're all positive. Liam looked at her. How do you feel about this? Emily laughed, but it was shaky. I don't know. Scared, excited, terrified. All of it. Me too. They sat there in silence for a moment. Then Emily said, We talked about this. About maybe having another kid someday. Yeah, someday. Not now. I know. Liam ran a hand through his hair. We just moved. We're both starting new jobs. Oliver's still adjusting. This is a lot. I know. But Liam looked at her, and despite the fear, he felt something else. Something warm and hopeful. But maybe it's good timing anyway. Emily's eyes widened. Really? Yeah, I mean, it's not what we planned. But when has anything in our lives gone according to plan? Emily laughed, and this time it was real. That's true. Liam put his hand on her stomach, even though there was nothing to feel yet. We're having a baby. We're having a baby, Emily echoed. They told Oliver a few weeks later. He was confused at first. Where's the baby now, sir? He asked, looking around the apartment. In my belly, Emily said, pointing to her stomach. Oliver's eyes went wide. You ate a baby. Liam choked on his coffee. No, buddy, Emily said, trying not to laugh. The baby is growing inside me. In a few months it'll be born, and then you'll have a little brother or sister. Oliver thought about this. Can I pick the name? Maybe, Liam said. What would you name it? T-Rex. We're not naming the baby T-Rex. Why not? Because that's a terrible name. Oliver pouted. Fine. What about Stegosaurus? Emily laughed. We'll think about it. The pregnancy was harder than Emily expected. She was sick constantly, exhausted. Her new job was demanding, and she was trying to prove herself while also dealing with nausea that wouldn't quit. One night in November, Liam found her in the bathroom crying. "Hey," he said gently, kneeling beside her. "What's wrong?" "I can't do this," Emily said. "I can't keep up with work and the pregnancy and Oliver and everything. It's too much." "Then let something go." "I can't. We need my income." "We'll figure it out." "How?" Liam didn't have an answer, so he just held her while she cried. The next day, Emily talked to her boss. She explained the situation, the pregnancy, the exhaustion, the struggle to keep up. And to her surprise, her boss was understanding. "We can adjust your workload," her boss said, "and after the baby's born, we'll talk about flexible hours. We want you here, Emily, but we also want you healthy." Emily came home that night looking lighter than she had in weeks. "They're going to work with me," she told Liam. "That's great." "I know. I was so scared to ask, but it's going to be okay." Liam pulled her close. "It's going to be more than okay." December came, and with it, the holidays. Margaret and David flew out to visit, and they were thrilled about the pregnancy. "Another grandchild," Margaret said, her eyes shining. "I can't believe it." They spent Christmas together. Liam, Emily, Oliver, Margaret, David, and Liam's parents, who also flew out. It was crowded and chaotic and loud, and it was perfect. On Christmas morning, Oliver opened his presents with the enthusiasm of a tornado. Emily sat on the couch, her hand on her growing belly, watching with a soft smile. Liam sat beside her, and she leaned her head on his shoulder. "This is what I wished for," she said quietly. "What?" "That night you asked me to move in. I wished for this. A real family. People who love each other. Chaos and noise and mess. All of it." Liam kissed the top of her head. "Your wish came true." "Yeah, it did." The baby was born in April on a rainy Tuesday afternoon, a girl. Liam held her for the first time in the hospital room, this tiny, perfect thing, and felt his heart crack open all over again. "She's beautiful," he whispered. Emily, exhausted and glowing, smiled. "She is." Oliver came to visit later that day. He stared at his baby sister with wide eyes. "She's really small," he said. "You were that small once," Liam told him. "Really? Really?" Oliver reached out carefully, touching her tiny hand. She grabbed his finger and his face lit up. "She likes me," he said. "Of course she likes you," Emily said. "You're her big brother." Oliver beamed. They named her Claire. Not T-Rex, not Stegosaurus, just Claire. The first few months were brutal. Claire didn't sleep. She cried constantly. Emily was exhausted. Liam was exhausted. Oliver was acting out, desperate for attention. There were nights when Liam sat in the nursery at 3 a.m, holding a screaming baby, wondering how they were going to survive this. But they did. Slowly, things got easier. Claire started sleeping longer stretches. Emily went back to work part-time. Oliver adjusted to being a big brother, and Liam learned that you could be exhausted and happy at the same time. One evening in June, Liam came home from work to find Emily on the couch, Claire asleep on her chest, Oliver curled up beside her watching cartoons. "Hey," Liam said softly. Emily looked up and smiled. "Hey." Liam sat down beside them, and Oliver immediately climbed into his lap. "How was work?" Emily asked. "Long, but good." They sat there together, the four of them, and Liam felt it again. That sense of peace, that feeling of home. A year later, on a Saturday morning, Liam woke up to the sound of laughter. He walked into the living room to find Emily and Oliver building a blanket fort while Claire toddled around, knocking things over. "Daddy!" Oliver shouted. "Come help!" Liam smiled. "I'll be right there." He made coffee first, standing in the kitchen and watching his family through the doorway. Emily caught his eye and smiled. And in that moment, Liam thought about everything that had brought them here. The loneliness he'd felt that first day at the office. The woman who'd brought him coffee and changed his life. The moment he'd almost lost her because he'd been too blind to see what was right in front of him. He thought about the risks they'd taken. The move. The marriage. The baby. All of it terrifying, all of it worth it. Because love, Liam had learned, wasn't about finding someone who made life easy. It was about finding someone who made life worth the effort, someone who saw you at your worst and stayed anyway, someone who chose you every single day, even when it was hard. Emily had been that person for him, and he'd spent every day since trying to be that person for her. "Daddy!" Oliver called again. "The fort's falling!" Liam set down his coffee and walked over, kneeling beside the blankets. "Let me help." Emily handed him a corner of the blanket, and their fingers touched. She smiled at him, and he smiled back. And in that simple moment, building a blanket fort on a Saturday morning, surrounded by the beautiful chaos of the life they'd built together, Liam realized something. He'd spent so long just trying to survive, but somewhere along the way he'd started living, really living. And it was because of her. The woman who'd waited patiently for him to see what she'd known all along, that they belonged together, that they were better together, that love wasn't something you stumbled into. It was something you built, brick by brick, moment by moment, choice by choice. Oliver ran through the fort, knocking it down again, and Claire squealed with delight. Emily laughed, and the sound filled the apartment. Liam looked at his wife, his children, this messy, imperfect, beautiful life they'd created, and he knew. This was it. This was everything. Years later, when Oliver was grown and Claire was in high school, Liam would sit on that same balcony overlooking the ocean and think about how it all started, with a joke. A careless comment about marriage made in an empty office late at night. He'd said it without thinking. "Maybe I should just marry you and make life easier." And Emily, the woman who'd loved him silently for years, had broken. She'd told him the truth. She'd laid her heart bare. She'd given him the choice, and he'd chosen her. Not because it was easy, but because it was right. Because some people come into your life and change everything. They don't fix you. They don't complete you. But they stand beside you. They choose you. They love you through the mess. And if you're lucky, really, truly lucky, you choose them back. Liam had been lucky. He'd found Emily, and she'd found him. And together they'd built something that neither of them could have built alone. A family, a home, a life. Not perfect, never perfect, but theirs. And that was more than enough.